there's a quiet kind of discomfort many people don't talk about. It's not dramatic, not loud, but it lingers. You wake up in the morning with a strange heaviness in your belly, not quite pain, but not peace either. Meals that once brought comfort now seem to sit in your gut like stones. You shift in your chair, rub your stomach gently, and try to ignore the bloat. But the discomfort returns every afternoon, every night. A slow build of pressure, gas, irregular bowels, and that sinking feeling that your digestion just isn't what it used to be. If you're over 50, you might know exactly what I'm talking about. And if you found yourself cutting back on your favorite foods, not because of calories, but because they make you feel sick, you're not alone. As we age, the rhythm of our body changes. Digestive enzymes slow, gut bacteria shift, and stress medication or years of processed foods quietly take their toll. I've lived that change. There were seasons when every bite felt like a gamble. Would this meal make me feel fine, or would I be dealing with heartburn, constipation, or cramping by bedtime? Doctors gave me pills. Ads offered fast relief, but nothing lasted. And then one day, I heard something from my grandmother's old neighbor, a woman in her 80s, who still walked tall and ate simply. She said, "You don't need a miracle. You just need 3 simple things that work with your gut, not against it." And those 3 things, water spinach, tofu, and ginger. At first, I rolled my eyes. But over the months, I started incorporating them into my meals, slowly, deliberately. And my gut, it responded like a flower in spring. Today, I want to walk with you through these 3 humble ingredients. I want to show you how they've not only eased my digestive troubles, but how they've helped hundreds of others in my community eat without fear, sleep without gas, and live without the grip of chronic bloating and bathroom anxiety. Because digestive disorders don't have to define the second half of your life. Let's step into the kitchen not as a battlefield, but as a place of calm, healing, and quiet strength. And we'll start with the first of these 3 quiet heroes, water spinach, shall we? Water spinach, also known as Ipomoea aquatica or kangkong in some Asian communities, is a leafy green that often grows wild in tropical regions. In Vietnam, we call it rau muong, a vegetable so common and unassuming many people overlook its healing potential. But let me tell you something. There's a reason my grandmother always kept a bunch of water spinach in a bowl of cool water near the kitchen sink. She didn't need a scientific study to tell her it was good for digestion. She could feel it. And now, after living through my own battles with gut distress, I understand why. Water spinach is rich in dietary fiber, especially insoluble fiber, which acts like a gentle broom for your intestines. When you eat it regularly, it stimulates peristalsis, that natural wave-like movement of your intestines that pushes waste out. It doesn't force or rush your digestion. It encourages it gently, like a wise old friend saying, "Let's keep things moving." But fiber is only part of the story. Water spinach is also high in magnesium and potassium, 2 minerals that play a vital role in balancing stomach acid and preventing constipation. If you're someone who deals with both bloating and acid reflux, spinach can offer a kind of double relief. It neutralizes excess stomach acid while supporting hydration at the cellular level. And hydration is key. Dehydrated intestines become sluggish. That's why water spinach, which is more than 90% water, doesn't just bulk up your stool, it keeps it soft and easy to pass. That matters especially for older adults who often take medications that dry out the gut. But there's something else, something subtle. Water spinach has been used in traditional medicine across Asia to cool the body's internal heat. In ancient Chinese medicine, when you had ulcers, indigestion, or burning sensations in your gut, they didn't talk about bacteria or inflammation. They talked about heat, the fiery imbalance inside your belly. And water spinach was one of the cooling remedies of choice. Modern science is catching up. Studies show that water spinach contains antioxidants like beta-carotene and flavonoids, which reduce oxidative stress in the digestive tract. Less stress means less inflammation. Less inflammation means less pain, less bloating, and better nutrient absorption. And you don't need a fancy recipe to feel the difference. In my home, I keep it simple. Lightly stir-fried with garlic and olive oil, or steamed with a splash of lemon juice. If I've had a heavy meal the day before, I make a broth with ginger and a handful of water spinach stems. By the next morning, I feel lighter, calmer, more regular. That's not coincidence. That's nourishment doing its quiet work. So if your gut feels stuck, sluggish, or irritated, start with this humble green. Eat it every other day. Chew it well. Don't drown it in spices or sauces. Let it speak for itself. And once you've begun to feel the shift, that subtle lightness, that gentler morning, you'll understand what my grandmother meant when she said, "Eat green to keep clean." Next, let's talk about tofu, because good digestion isn't just about what pushes things out, but also about what soothes and protects what's inside. When your gut is tired, when it's overworked, inflamed, or simply sluggish, sometimes what it needs is not more stimulation, but softness. That's where tofu comes in. Tofu, made from soybeans, is one of the most easily digestible sources of plant-based protein on the planet. And for those of us over 50, that matters more than you might think. As we age, our stomachs produce less stomach acid. That makes it harder to break down meats, fatty foods, and even some vegetables. You might notice heaviness after eating red meat or a general sense of fatigue after meals. Tofu bypasses that struggle. It's gentle, it's light, and it gives your body the nourishment it needs without causing friction along the way. But that's just the beginning. Tofu is rich in isoflavones, plant compounds that act as antioxidants. These isoflavones help reduce inflammation in the gut lining, which is often the root cause of everything from acid reflux to irritable bowel syndrome. If you've ever felt that burning sensation creep up your chest after dinner, or that bloated tightness that refuses to go away, inflammation may be to blame. Tofu helps calm that flame. It also contains lecithin, which aids in the breakdown of fats. That's especially useful for older adults who may have sluggish bile production, a common but often overlooked cause of indigestion. And here's a little-known bonus: tofu supports the gut microbiome. Because it's fermented in many traditional forms like tempeh or soft tofu, it can introduce beneficial bacteria into your system. These microbes support digestion, enhance nutrient absorption, and protect against pathogens. Now, I've heard many people say tofu is bland, it has no taste, to which I always reply, that's the point. Tofu isn't here to impress your taste buds with spice or salt. It's here to rest your digestion, to hold your stomach like a warm compress, to offer protein without punishment. And that's a rare gift in our modern diet. You can prepare tofu in dozens of ways, but for digestion, I recommend keeping it light. Soft tofu steamed with ginger and scallions, silken tofu in a light broth with water spinach, or pan-seared tofu cubes with a drizzle of sesame oil and a pinch of turmeric. Each of these recipes not only tastes good, but feels good. You'll notice it within an hour or two of eating. No bloat, no discomfort, just a calm, clean kind of fullness. When my gut was at its worst, I ate tofu every evening for a week. No red meat, no dairy, just warm vegetables broth and tofu. And by the 7th day, I woke up without that heavy fog in my belly. I wasn't straining in the bathroom. I wasn't curling on the couch with a heating pad. I was moving, thinking, sleeping better. That's what tofu can do when you let it. Now we've calmed the system. We've soothed the inflammation. But what about motion? What about fire, the kind that fuels healthy digestion? That's where ginger enters the story. And it might just be the most powerful piece of this trio. If water spinach is the broom and tofu is the balm, then ginger is the spark. It's the gentle flame that wakes up the gut. the ancient root that whispers to your intestines. Let's get to work. For thousands of years across continents and cultures, ginger has been used to awaken digestion, and it's no surprise why. One of the core causes of digestive trouble, especially in older adults, is stagnation, a lack of movement. Food that sits too long in the stomach, gas that doesn't pass, nutrients that don't get absorbed, and ginger. Ginger gets things moving. It contains bioactive compounds like gingerol and Shogal compounds known to stimulate the digestive tract, reduce nausea, ease intestinal cramping, and even boost enzyme production. If you've ever felt like your stomach was stuck, ginger can be the difference between discomfort and relief. But that's not all it does. Ginger is a natural anti-inflammatory. And many digestive disorders, gastritis, IBS, colitis, even ulcers, stem from chronic inflammation. By calming that inflammation at the cellular level, ginger doesn't just mask symptoms, it heals the root. And it doesn't take much. A few slices of fresh ginger steeped in hot water. A teaspoon of grated ginger in your tofu stir-fry. A small cube chewed raw after a heavy meal if you can handle the kick. Even just smelling ginger tea in the kitchen can soothe the nervous system and prepare the gut for better digestion. And that's the other part we often forget. Digestion isn't just a function of food. It's tied to stress, to mindset, to the nervous system itself. Ginger activates the vagus nerve, the bridge between your brain and your belly. That's why in traditional medicine, ginger was always given before big meals or stressful events. It grounded the body, it anchored the gut, and that's what it did for me. After years of popping antacids and drinking carbonated water to fight bloating, I finally listened to my instincts and my ancestors and made ginger tea part of my morning ritual. I didn't expect much, but after 3 days my appetite changed. I was hungrier, but not for junk. My meals went down smoother, my sleep improved, the swelling in my lower belly gone. Ginger gave me back my rhythm. It's not a miracle root. It's not a cure-all, but it's a trustworthy ally, especially when paired with tofu and water spinach. Together, they don't force the body, they remind the body of balance, of warmth, of the natural intelligence it already holds. So now that you know the 3 ingredients, let's talk about how to actually use them. Not just once in a while, but every day. Because the real healing, it comes from consistency. Now that we've explored the 3 digestive champions, water, spinach, tofu, and ginger, it's time to talk about something just as important: when and how to use them. Because even the best foods can fall flat if eaten at the wrong time, in the wrong way, or in the wrong combination. As we age, our digestive rhythms shift. Our enzyme production slows. Our bowel movements become more sensitive to the time of day, the temperature of our meals, and even our emotional state. That's why timing and preparation matter. Let's begin with the morning. Morning ginger, first light start. Start your day not with coffee, but with a warm cup of ginger water. It's simple. Slice 3-4 thin rounds of fresh ginger. Steep in hot water for 5-10 minutes. Optional, add a dash of lemon juice. Drink it on an empty stomach. It will gently stimulate your digestive fire. Prepare your gut for the day and help flush out overnight waste. An hour later, have a light breakfast. A warm bowl of soft tofu with steamed water spinach. You can drizzle with a touch of sesame oil or olive oil and sprinkle in some lightly toasted sesame seeds. This combination gives you protein, hydration, and fiber without any heaviness or acid. Midday balanced, satisfying meals. Your lunch should be your most substantial meal when digestion is strongest. Here's a sample plate: steamed brown rice or sweet potato, stir-fried water spinach with garlic and a hint of ginger, pan-seared tofu cubes with turmeric and black pepper, a warm broth on the side with extra ginger slices. This combination nourishes without overloading. The ginger keeps the metabolism active. The tofu provides protein without burden. The water spinach keeps things moving. Evening, soothing and simple. Dinner should be light and calming. Avoid raw vegetables, cold drinks, or heavy starches. Instead, try this. Clear soup with tofu and water spinach, ginger carrot puree or mashed pumpkin with ginger, herbal tea, ginger mint or ginger cinnamon before bed. This routine sets your gut up for rest, not work. The last thing your body needs before sleep is to struggle with digestion. Timing tips. Avoid water spinach raw. It can be too harsh on a sensitive gut. Cook ginger for a milder flavor, and gentler action raw is stronger but can cause heat in some. Don't combine tofu with heavy meats or dairy. Let it shine alone or with vegetables. Eat slowly, chew well, especially as you get older. Allow at least 3 hours between your last meal and bedtime. Bonus, weekly cleansing bowl. Once or twice a week, I make a digestive reset bowl. Steamed water spinach, soft tofu chunks, warm brown rice, fresh grated ginger on top, dash of olive oil and black sesame. It's simple, it's healing, it works. After 7 days of this routine, most people notice reduced bloating, more regular bowel movements, better sleep, clearer appetite cues, less reliance on digestive medications. But none of it works if it's done only once. It's the rhythm that heals, the daily consistency, the slow return to balance. And yes, sometimes that means saying no to what once brought you comfort. Fried snacks, dairy-heavy sauces, sugary desserts, and saying yes to gentler meals that rebuild you from the inside. Now let's hear from others who've tried this approach. And let's talk about some of the common mistakes that slow progress or even make things worse. When I first shared this trio, water spinach, tofu, and ginger, with my neighbors at our local senior community center, I didn't expect much. I thought maybe a few would try it. Maybe 1 or 2 would stick with it. But within a month, nearly a dozen people came back with stories, real stories, not just about their digestion, but about their energy, sleep, and even emotional well-being. Linda, 68, had been struggling with chronic bloating and constipation for years. Her doctors had prescribed fiber powders and antacids, but they only gave temporary relief. After just 1 week of following the morning ginger tea and tofu water spinach lunch combo, she told me, "I didn't feel stuffed after meals. I slept through the night, and for the first time in a year, I didn't dread using the bathroom." George, 73, had stopped eating tofu decades ago, thinking it was tasteless health food. But after trying my ginger-stirred tofu with wilted water spinach, he said, "It was light but filling. My acid reflux didn't show up once, and my bowels were surprisingly peaceful." These aren't miracles. They're reminders that food is medicine when we listen, when we slow down, when we return to the basics. But not everyone saw results right away. Some made mistakes. Some unknowingly sabotaged their progress. Here are the most common pitfalls and how to avoid them. Mistake hash 1. Eating water. Spinach. Raw. Raw water spinach can be too fibrous and harsh, especially for sensitive stomachs. It may cause gas bloating or even irritation for some. Solution: always cook water spinach. A light stir-fry, steam, or gentle boil is enough. Cooking breaks down the fibers and releases its digestive benefits more gently. Mistake hash 2. Overdoing ginger. Ginger is potent. Too much can lead to acid buildup, mouth irritation, or even burning in the chest, especially for those with sensitive stomachs. Solution: start small, a few slices in tea, 1/2 TSP grated in meals. Let your body adjust, and avoid combining raw ginger with spicy or greasy foods. Mistake hash 3. Pairing tofu with heavy proteins. Many people mix tofu with beef, pork, or cheese-based sauces thinking it'll balance the meal. But instead, it overwhelms digestion. Solution: let tofu be the main protein. Pair it with light grains, vegetables, or broths. Its healing power is in its simplicity. Mistake hash 4. Eating too late. Even healthy foods can disturb digestion if eaten late at night. One woman told me she had ginger tofu soup at 10 p.m. and couldn't sleep due to heartburn. Solution: eat dinner at least 3 hours before bedtime. Choose the gentlest form of these ingredients, steamed, boiled, or in broth. Mistake #5. Expecting instant results. A few people gave up after 2 days, saying, "I still feel bloated." But remember, your gut didn't become sluggish overnight. It won't heal overnight either. Solution: commit to 7 days. Keep a small journal. Track your meals, your sleep, your bowel movements. Progress is often quiet and cumulative. And here's one of the most overlooked truths. You can do everything right and still sabotage your gut if your mindset is tense. Stress shuts down digestion. Anger, worry, and rushing meals all send the body into fight or flight, a state where digestion slows or stops completely. So eat mindfully, bless your meal, sit down, chew slowly. These aren't old-fashioned ideas. They're biologically necessary. Once you pair your food choices with presence and care, you begin to reclaim your gut, not just for now, for life. And now that you know the power of these ingredients and how to use them well, I want to invite you to do something different, something gentle, something consistent, something sacred. Let's bring it all together in one daily rhythm, and let's see what happens in just 3 days. You don't need a pantry full of supplements. You don't need a complicated elimination diet. You don't need to fear your next meal. What you do need is a shift, a quiet commitment to gentle healing habits done not once but over and over like ripples smoothing a lake. Water spinach, tofu, ginger. 3 ingredients, 3 roles. 1 sweeps the gut clean. 1 soothes and nourishes the lining. 1 warms and activates your digestive fire. Alone, each is helpful. Together they form a rhythm, a ritual, a restoration of your body's natural capacity to digest, eliminate, and renew. I've lived through years of digestive struggle, the kind that doesn't show up on scans or tests, but weighs down your life all the same. The bloating, the heartburn, the feeling of being off after eating, the restless nights, the medications that helped and then stopped helping. And I've also lived through the return. The quiet transformation that comes not from a new pill, but from an old way of eating. If you've read this far, I believe you're ready. Ready to try something simpler, to come back to your kitchen, to tune into your gut not as an enemy, but as a messenger. So here's what I'm inviting you to do. For 3 days, follow the simple plan. Morning ginger tea plus light tofu dish. Midday steamed water spinach plus seared tofu plus warm grains. Evening broth-based meal with ginger plus soft greens plus calming herbs. Log how you feel, not just digestion but energy, sleep, clarity. Then come back here. Share your story. Because someone else somewhere is still afraid of food, still afraid of their own body, still trapped in a loop of discomfort. Your story might be their turning point. And if this video or story brought even a moment of clarity or calm, if you learned something new or remembered something old, then I invite you to do just one more thing. Subscribe to the channel for more weekly reflections, gentle habits and home rituals to help you reconnect with what matters. Like this video to help others find it and to let me know it meant something to you. Comment below what part of your digestion needs the most support. What daily change are you ready to try? This isn't just content, it's a shared practice. And your presence here, it means more than you know. Let's grow this space one calm, caring meal at a time.